Welcome to the Midnight Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Easton Bennett, alongside my fellow co-host, Tyler Sinden. We are both entrepreneurs who are learning, growing, and building our own businesses, and our goal is to share our experience and knowledge to help you grow and become a successful entrepreneur. Strap in. Before we get started, if you have any questions or things you'd like us to cover, you can email us at themidnightentrepreneur@gmail.com. If you'd like us to join, oh God, that sentence is hard, Tyler. I butcher it every time. And if you'd like to join our business Discord, where we talk about wins, business problems, or general questions, shoot us a message and we will get you in there. Tyler, how is it going?
It's going pretty good, Easton. We are back here. I know you just had a little vacation, but we've been grinding over here. How's it going with you?
It's going stellar. I was in Vegas for a week, and then we had McQuaid's softball tournament over the weekend. Just a day of work in between those two little trips. Vacation was good, and things are going good, but it's good to hear that you've still been grinding. It's a little different to be talking. I haven't talked in front of a camera in a while.
Yeah. I don't know if your headphones are connected, but you're a little faint. But yeah, I've realized like the past few days that my screen time has gone down like very significantly on my phone, just because before I thought I was busy and now it's like, okay, now I'm busy. But I feel like in a year, I'll be like, okay, now I wasn't busy then and now I'm busy. And I feel like it's just going to be a perpetual outcome where I'm just constantly busy. But yeah, my screen time's gone down quite significantly since starting New Frame and trying to launch all that stuff. So yeah, it's been a pretty busy past few weeks for sure.
Not sure why it's faint. My headphones are definitely connected. I'm definitely hearing you. So not sure what the issue is there. Hopefully maybe it'll fix itself in the middle of the show. But yeah, screen time. I try to look at the screen time at like the end of every week and see where I'm at. And I never seem to do better. But I know when I was in Vegas, the screen time was down because looking at the casino tables, that screen time was up. So, yeah, good to hear. How's it going with New Frame?
Yeah, we're doing a lot of work there, and I think this is part of the stuff that we're going to get into in today's topic. But I'm doing a lot of like the foundation building and making sure that the foundation's there and it's built, and might just be an excuse for me to not do the high leverage activities, which is sending out cold DMs, sending out cold emails, and trying to get clients. So I'm not sure if that's what it is, but yeah, I'm trying to build out the foundation right now. I sent you the podcast artwork the other day. I filmed my first YouTube video. I got a couple blogs posted. I'm just cranking stuff out on the site, and it just seems like one thing comes up and another thing comes up, and it's just constantly coming up more and more stuff. So yeah, there's a lot going on there, but I am trying to knock stuff out. And like I said, I'm not sure if it is me just trying to avoid those high leverage activities that I know I need to do and just working on other stuff. But once I have these next few pages done, there's no excuse at that point. So we'll see how it goes and what I do. Maybe this episode will teach me or talk me into actually doing it.
Push you into actually accomplishing something. Because one thing I always think is that you're always going to come up with new things that, oh, actually now I need to get this done. Or, oh, this thing popped up, so I need to get this. So you might think once you finish those pages, there's no excuses, but you might come up with another excuse the second those pages are done. So that would be my recommendation. Just get cranking on her, but we're going to talk about that kind of in this episode. But yeah, I mean, especially because leads take so long to develop, you might not start working with a client for a month or two after you actually connect with them.
Yeah, that's one of the issues, because I'm just thinking if I might as well get the foundation and everything built out now, because if I do end up starting to get clients, like how busy am I going to be? Am I going to be able to get the foundation built out? Is that just going to take a back seat? So that's why I'm trying to build the foundation and just get everything done. And like you said, one thing after another thing just might keep coming up. And one thing that I do got on here is that Eddie's been selling me pretty hard, and he just connected me with someone that wants to maybe film content. Maybe we can do a live discussion on what I should do and how I should charge it or package I should come up with. But I think he's looking for short form content. I got to respond to him after this podcast recording, but he's looking for short form content, 2 to 4 pieces of content per day.
Oh,
And
wow.
when he said that, I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that?
I mean, that sounds like a fly out there and shoot a bunch at one time, because I assume he's in Florida where Eddie's at.
Real estate. Yeah. I thought you were gonna say his industry, but yeah. I believe he is out there. Maybe I don't really know, to be honest.
I mean, that's a good connection to have for sure. It would be tough to produce that much content unless he really
That's
has
what I'm saying.
a high budget. But
That's what
maybe
I'm
that's
saying.
something where you take it at a lower price in the beginning just to get your feet wet and then go from there. But obviously you don't want to skim yourself. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting that Eddie is selling for you. Because any boots on the ground that you can get is good to get those clients. But yeah, that's an interesting 2 to 4 pieces of content. That's a lot.
What would you say? What would you be charging, or what do you think? What around?
It would all depend on the structure. I mean, it's hard to say a number. I always like to ask a budget, but I would try to go out there maybe once a month and shoot as much as I can. What kind of content is he looking for? 2 to 4 short form videos or photos or graphics?
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I still gotta respond to this guy after and see what he's looking for. I texted him. I was like, "Is this through all the platforms, or is it just Insta Facebook?" And he said Instagram and Facebook. Currently, I do post on TikTok sometimes, and eventually would like to grow my following there as well. But Insta and Facebook are the priorities currently. So obviously those two platforms, and it's like, and I was just thinking, it's like, do you have content that you actually want to post that's actually valuable, that's going to be resonating with these people, or are you just trying to get in front of these people as many times as possible and just try and show up wherever and whenever? So that's one of the discussions that I feel like I always have, and I think it's quality over quantity. But if you're able to do both at the same time, go for it. But I just think 2 to 4 pieces of content, if you're posting on the same platform, that's a lot of content, and you're just going to overwhelm everyone, and a lot's going to get missed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if it's all quality, which if you have a budget, you can make it all quality. Then that's definitely something that's doable. But yeah, if you're doing it just to do it with no reason, then that's where it gets a little bit hairy. What I would do personally is go into a discovery call, try to book a discovery call with them, and just ask as many questions as you can. And I can send you my discovery call script that kind of goes over what I ask to my video clients, because you asking me, what would you do in this situation? There's so many rocks that you have to turn over to figure out what you should do. So, you need to talk about what is his goal? Why does he want to produce this content? Is he trying to grow his following? Is he trying to make more sales? Is he trying to get more likes? All of those different things determine, your expertise. Then you can say, okay, well, if you're trying to get more followers, here's the route I would take you. If you're trying to get more sales, 4 pieces of content a day might not work. Whereas you could create this funnel, and that might get you more sales. So the client always thinks they know what they want, but the more questions you ask and the more answers they give you, you can use your expertise to guide them where they should actually, use their dollars to actually accomplish those goals. But if it's like, hey, I want to get more likes and followers and subscribers, then 2 to 4 pieces of content a day might be the route. And then you go into, okay, well, what are you willing to spend to do this? Is this something where I fly out once a month, we shoot everything for a month, and I'm there for like a week, or what that looks like? Obviously, that could get pretty expensive for them if you got to fly out once a month. But yeah, it's just asking those questions with the client, really figuring out what are you doing this for, and just asking why a bunch of times. If they say, okay, I want to create 4 pieces. Well, why do you want to? I want to get more followers. Why do you want more followers? What's that going to do? I want to have my own TV show one day. Why? Because I want to, you know what I mean? So you just have to keep nagging and digging. And I remember when I was first doing this, it felt uncomfortable. Keep asking more and more questions. And then eventually you do it, just because the more information you have, the better experience it is for you creating a proposal and a budget, and for the client, because they're going to get more tailored experience to what you're creating for them, rather than, okay, here's your content. I know we didn't talk about anything, but good luck.
Yeah. So it's tough, and especially like this just happening today. It was a fairly busy day today, and I haven't had much time to respond and interact with him. So I feel like getting on the discovery call would be good to open a lot of, I don't know what the term is, but like get a lot of questions answered. So, and I think like you hearing this, I feel like you can understand a little bit of why I might have like this fear of success. Like, today's topic, but because it's like I currently work this day job, and it's like, am I going to be able to produce 2 to 4 pieces of content per month? Because it seemed like, in a sense, he wanted someone to manage his social media accounts, because he's like, I don't have enough time to post 2 to 4 times.
Yeah.
And my question was 2 to 4 times per day or per week.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just seems like it's going to be a lot. So I think that's an area of where this fear of success might be coming from.
Yeah, and especially you not knowing because you are so early. I remember in the beginning when I was getting these clients, I would pitch them things, and I'm not really sure if I could accomplish that, if I'm getting, in too deep, or if that's, the right amount of work. So those first couple are going to be a feeling out process. You might tell them, hey, it's $5,000 a month for 4 pieces of content a day. And then you might do it for a month and say, holy shit, I need more money. But you might do it for $5,000 and it might take you, 20 hours, and you're like, okay, this is perfect. Yeah. You won't know right away, but as you start to talk to more people, you'll start to get an idea of what kind of time it takes to be creating this content and what they're looking for and running the ads or whatever you're tackling for them. But yeah, it might be a little bit difficult in the beginning, just kind of guessing what dollar amount's worth it.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is get a good price. I would film everything, get a bunch of B-roll as well, and then find an editor and send it all to them and be like, here you go. And then charge them like $10, $15 per clip. It's like, I need 4 of these per day. Go for it, have at it. And then, so all I would really need to do is the filming, and I guess that's an option. So
perfect. Yeah. Send it to me, and I'll send it to my editor, take a small cut out of it, and then we'll be good to
go. Perfect. Sounds like a plan. What's going on with you?
Like I said, back from Vegas, trying to get back into a routine, which is, it's getting there, but one, you got to adjust to the time change, which I think I'm adjusted to now. And then it's just catching up on the emails and the shoots that you got to get going from, I was gone for 4 or 5 days. So catching up on all that. The one good thing about this is while I was gone, the North Carolina editor that I have started spitting out some content for one of the smaller clients I pushed to him, and I really liked the video. I was pretty happy with what he put together, sent it over to the client, and they were happy with it. So now we're going to cut it down into a couple social pieces. So it was cool to experience work still getting done while I was in the Sin City, throwing all my dollars on the craps table. So interesting concept. That was kind of a clicking moment for me, thinking, if I have these editors working, like, it's okay to be gone for 3 or 4 days because things are still getting done. So that was kind of an eye opener. And then as far as the editor side goes, a guy I reached out to probably 2-3 months ago that's local to me in Minot. I said, hey, do you want to be a part-time editor? He pretty much told me he needs to get paid $70,000 a year to be a full-time editor, or he wouldn't leave his job. He reached out to me when I was in Vegas and said, are you looking for some side editing work? I just got laid off. So I'm looking for, yes.
Now you got more leverage.
Yeah.
I'll give you 40,000.
Yeah. So he said he's looking for a little bit of work here and there. So that's good for me, at least. Not good for him, but I mean, it's good if I can push him some work. It's a win-win. So that's kind of the news that I have, other than when I was in Vegas, I won $3,400 in one roll, craps. So that was pretty exciting.
Did you end up losing it all, or did you walk away with some money?
I'm on the 5-day trip. I'm down about $500. So honestly, not horrible at all in Vegas. The first 20 hours I was there, I was down probably $2,200, and I was down to the last $300 cash I had, and that's when I won the $3,400. It was about 4:30 in the morning. I had my lucky fedora and rolled for an hour and a half without rolling a 7, and cashed out $3,400.
There you go.
And we went downtown. I lost, some of it, but didn't lose it all. Came home with about $1,950 left. So I'd say it's a win-win. Had a good time. I was ready to get back into North Dakota, though. It's just, it sucks. Sometimes you get to day 4 of staying up till 3, 4, 5 in the morning and waking up. So yeah, I was happy to get home, happy to get back into the swing of things, but it was a little good needed break.
You weren't going to bed at like 9 o'clock like I do?
No.
When you were there? No.
Just getting started.
It's cool that you were realizing, though, the differentiation between giving yourself a job where currently basically what you have, where you're like the business owner and you're an employee of your own company, versus actually an owner of a business or whatever the equation is or boxes that Robert lays out. So that's cool that you saw that.
Yeah, for sure. And it was eye-opening. That's like, okay, I'm here in Vegas, like having good meals, hanging out, listening to music, live like music on downtown Fremont Street. And I'm like, there's someone still working right now for me. So it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool to see that. So yeah, going to start pushing more so into that direction. Keep working on getting an editor, try to get him full time and then go from there.
Yeah, that was the first thing that happened to us when we got our first sale with Nuevo. It was just really cool, the realization that you can make money while you sleep or whatever, wherever it is. Like, you don't need to be putting in hours in order to get money. So it was really cool realization. Oh, we can have this and then we can still make money over here while we're, say, sleeping. Because I think we woke up the next morning, or I think it was in the morning or something. That's when the guy bought it. So it was cool just seeing that happen overnight.
Yeah.
While we're sleeping.
It's cool to get into that because everyone says, oh, you need to create a business so you don't have to work. And for the last 5 years, I've just been, like you said, an employee of my own business. Or if you can start to make that transition where you're more so a business owner where the business is still running and you don't have to be hands-on with everything. It's cool to see that happening now and hear what people or see what people are always talking about. Like, oh, you got to be your own boss, this kind of thing. So we'll see how that goes in the coming years. I'm not saying it needs to be like that 100% in the next 4 months, but it kind of gives me now an outlook like 5 years from now. Where is it going to be? You know?
Yeah. It obviously takes time to get to that point, and you obviously got to put in the work up front, and you got to learn the systems and learn the processes, and you actually got to do it yourself. And that's what you've been doing these last 5-ish years. And then once you're getting to that point where you can start branching away, but at the same time, you're not going to really be branching away. You're still going to be in the business. You're just going to be doing different leveraged activities. It's going to be like the higher leveraged activities that keeps moving the business forward and puts the processes in place. And then you're going to have the other people that are doing those duties that you used to do to keep the business moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it starts with the editing. Once I have an editor that's a whole task I can eliminate myself. I think that's going to open up so much time. Literally all day today I spent on one client working on their deliverables. If you can buy a whole day back, just pay someone whatever it is to get that job done in a day. I don't even know what I would have done with all my time today, but
that's what my question would have been. What would you have done with that extra time?
Probably just got more
new clients.
Well, I'd get back on track with the clients I have now, making sure everything's organized. Or right now it's just a mess of, okay, this needs to get done, this deadline needs to be hit, and everything's kind of being pushed up to deadlines, which I'm trying to get ahead of so that doesn't happen anymore. But yeah, I don't know. It's a nightmare going into July. Now I have July and I have literally like 3 open days that I'm not shooting. And I thought July was going to be easy.
So are you fearing success?
I'm fearing that I can't get all this shit done.
Fear of success.
Exactly. And we're going to go with it. Yeah, we're going to get into that in about 3 minutes. But first, we're going to talk about this week's news story. Tyler, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg have agreed to fight
They actually agree?
Yeah.
Or did they just mention it?
No, I think they agreed. They said they were serious.
That's not agree.
Well, I mean, they didn't like sign a contract with the UFC or anything, but they said, yeah.
I don't think they would. It's not agreed upon yet. With the way you're phrasing it, seems like it's all on Twitter or whatever it is right now. And then I think Mark posted on Instagram or Facebook that this was also a possibility, but I don't think it's in paper or this is a sure thing that's going to happen yet. But it just seems like another PR stunt where not a little different from your normal Logan and Jake Paul stunts, where that's more of like money, where I think this would just be more so PR marketing type stunt. I think they did mention it would be like donated to charity. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, I don't know. It's let the professionals handle the fighting. Yeah,
more brand awareness of like, oh, 2 billionaires are going to fight each other, which I don't get. Like, man, I would definitely
be a couple.
I'd definitely watch
Teslas
it.
Hanging from the ceiling.
God, that would be so funny. Can you imagine Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk fighting?
Not really.
What a weird battle that would be.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
I think it would be really funny. Yeah. It's interesting because Mark's also been doing jiu-jitsu. I don't know if you know that, but he won like a jiu-jitsu tournament or whatever. So that picture was going around fairly recently that he just won that. So I don't know how much that translates into like kickboxing or boxing or whatever kind of duel this is going to be going. But I don't know if you also saw this where Andrew Tate reached out to Elon or tweeted at Elon. He's like, Meta banned me from all their platforms or whatever. I'll train you, Elon. You will not lose.
That would be awesome. What a trifecta.
Right.
Elon getting trained by Andrew Tate, who's fighting Mark Zuckerberg. Like, what the hell has this world come to, man?
Just craziness all around.
But yeah, all in all, I don't think it's going to happen. If it does, I'm definitely going to watch it.
At the start of this, it's agreed. I don't think it's going to happen anymore.
They both said they would do it. That's what I saw. But it's not like they put any merit behind it. It's not like, yeah, I'll send the paper to my team. They're pretty much like, yeah, I'll fight him. And then Elon's like, yeah, I'll fight him. And that's as much as I've heard.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think I heard that Elon's starting to get back into shape. And that's good because I've seen some pictures of him. I'm like, oh man, he should watch his diet or do some exercising or something because like he was letting go of himself. He's just working too much. I feel like so. That's what happens when you get to be like the richest man in the world and
all you
you're
do is
too
work.
Focused on all your businesses. So yeah, like 16-hour days.
Yeah, put down the cheeseburgers, Elon.
I heard he doesn't. He said he doesn't even eat breakfast, or like he skips like a bunch of meals, just because he's like work.
It's too busy.
Like work, and it's like, yeah. So it just like makes me think it's like maybe it's his metabolism then.
He's a fucking robot, anyways. So
it's true.
All right, let's get into this week's topic: fear of success. We kind of mentioned it. Very interesting topic because a lot of people, I feel like you'd think about fear of success. It's like, how can you be scared of success? But we're going to dive into that, exactly that. Tyler, what do you think it means to be fearful of success or have, I'm sure it's a phobia, but, fear of success?
Yeah, I feel like we talked about this a little bit on a different episode where it was imposter syndrome, and it could be a little bit in that sense. But what we have here, fear of success, is the concern that once we achieve something new, we'll be incapable of sustaining it or may suffer because of it. And I think that really relates to me too, because I currently work this business, or I currently work a day job, and then I'm starting these side projects. And once I start getting all these jobs or clients or whatever it is, what's going to happen with everything else? And then it just starting to overwhelm myself. And it's just thinking of like how much work I'm going to have to do. What am I going to have to do? Am I going to have to quit my job? Am I going to be able to deliver everything? And like, there's so much stuff that just keeps coming in my head. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. And I think that's a sense of maybe a little bit of the imposter syndrome. And then at the same time, it's like, I'm thinking, I don't even know how to send invoices yet. I don't even know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. So it's going to be a huge learning curve. And I think that's one thing that you need to do is push past that hard or that suck, or because that's what's going to ultimately get you to be the best version of yourself and push you to strive for more. So I think a lot of this episode is going to be me trying to talk to myself and hype myself up, because this is what I'm currently struggling with, and it's something that I need to overcome. So I'm going to be talking to myself a lot in this episode.
Double tire pump. I'll try to help you out too, because you said you've experienced this a little bit. Where I don't know if I've experienced it. I've thought about like the possibility of not being able to handle things. We just mentioned it before. If I'm getting all this work, it's like, shit, can I actually accomplish and execute on what I'm telling everybody that I can? I think that's the biggest thing that it comes down to for me, is the fear of success. It's more so the fear and the added stress and anxiety you have when success comes. Is that kind of how it is for you? Or are you just scared of being a millionaire one day, or what?
Yeah, it's definitely not being scared of a millionaire. I think it's scared of the probably work that I'm going to have to put in. I listed a few things out. It's just like, am I going to have to quit my job? Am I going to be able to deliver? Am I going to be able to, it's simple, but like sending an invoice, am I going to know how to do that? Obviously, can watch a few YouTube videos, or I can ask you, or ask a few buddies or someone. But I think there's just so many unknowns in my current experience because I've never done anything similar to this. So it's all new water to me. So it's a huge learning curve that I'm going to be going through. And I think it's overwhelming myself with a lot of stuff because this past week or two, like I was saying in the intro, I've been getting very busy recently. And with me getting busy and then also needing to take on clients, it's like, okay, now I'm going to have to start prioritizing stuff because something's going to have to take a back seat, and it's obviously not going to be the client. So it's going to be all this other stuff. So it's like, I'm not going to be able to do everything. So I think I'm just trying to juggle too many things at once. And I know you've told me this before, but yeah, I think I might be pushing myself a little too thin.
Basically what I'm thinking as far as you spreading yourself too thin, we have mentioned that before, but I think it's it's really just looking at it as picking one thing, whether that's, new frame, which I assume it's going to be new frame, but picking new frame, and then obviously your full-time job, which you have to execute at, but having those two avenues and then just focusing on those. Because previously when we've talked about spreading yourself too thin, I think you mentioned you just got to do it. But I told you, I'm like, well, you might not have enough time in the day to do all of it. So I think that's what it comes down to. It's picking and hyper focusing on the one thing that you have enough time to do and that you're able to actually accomplish, and then letting those things in the back burner fall, because at the end of the day, I'm not sure if those things matter as much as, the new frame clients and your full-time job. Whereas if you want to bring those things back eventually, you can.
Yeah. And I skipped this in the intro. I also met up with Riley this weekend and we talked about Nuevo a little bit. And it seems like the future planning that we did have with it is probably not end up going to happen. And let's just get through all the products that we currently have. So I know you have said to focus on one thing and stuff's going to have to take the back burner. And it's just like, I don't know when work's going to have to take the back burner, because it seems like I might be getting these clients or whatever, and if they expect me to say go and fly out to them, I'm not going to be able to do that. But maybe it's just setting client expectations and just figuring a different solution out. So maybe it's just brainstorming different topics or ways that we can overcome solutions. So yeah,
I suppose I didn't even think about that. With a full-time job, how are you going to fly out and film something? How much PTO do you have?
A couple weeks, not much, not enough. So,
well, you are remote. Yeah. Remote work helps.
Yeah. So it definitely does help. So I could, because Eddie and I have talked about me going back and visiting him, and he's actually going on a little trip across America coming up here in a couple weeks, I think. So I feel like I would be able to go out there and maybe take like a couple days off and just film, or maybe do it on the weekend. I don't know what it would be, but yeah, I was also listening to an Alex Hormozy episode today where he was talking about, and then it's just billing them for the food, travel, and lodging. And if I'm able to do that and stay there for maybe a week, find a hotel or something and just crash there for a week, I'd be up for that. It's just, it seems like a lot, and it's very daunting, especially at the start, because like it's a lot of unknowns. And I think that's what and at the same time, I like change, but at the same time, this feels like a big change. So it's a little bit different as opposed to, say, maybe me moving my office into a different room. Yeah. That's change. So this is like big change.
But the big changes, that's where strides are made. That's what I say.
That's true. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff that I'm going to have to overcome eventually. And this unknown shit, it's going to have to be dealt with at one point if I ever do want to be quote unquote successful. So I'm going to have to overcome it one way or another.
For sure. And I think as far as the problem goes, where you having to travel there, you could always create that creative network of people around the country you could help out. Like I have some contacts in Florida that you could be like, okay, can you go shoot this stuff for 2-3 days? And you would just say, oh, my team's going to come out there, right? They don't know if they're from Florida or whatever it is. and you could handle it that way. That's kind of jump starting in the beginning. Maybe it's skipping a couple steps where you go out there, but nothing wrong with that if you had to have other people do it. But yeah, I mean, this client I feel like is a little bit different anyways, because I don't know how many clients are going to, ideally a lot, but I don't know how many clients are going to come on board and say, hey, we need 4 pieces of content today and you to fly out to Florida and shoot once a month, right? That's, might be a $50,000, $60,000 client. Those don't just wash up on shore very often. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's good to have, but it'll be interesting to see how you handle it. I mean, obviously you just kind of work through it and see what works best.
Yeah, I definitely believe that it's a good problem to have to solve, where you are getting clients and you're saying, okay, what am I going to have to do to make this successful and make this work? And then you're solving those problems. Whereas other people might be struggling with the problem that they have to solve of getting clients. So if I already have the clients and I already have people wanting to come in, it's a good problem to have for sure.
Figuring out how to execute is much easier than figuring out how to get someone to execute with. So yeah, I mean, if I had unlimited clients coming in, I would definitely find a way to execute on all of them. But the lead generation, that's the $1 million question.
Yeah, I believe, man, I believe I can fly. I believe that a lot of this fear is coming from me having the day job, just because it does take up a lot of my time and I don't want to not be there and not be present. And at some point or another, I'm going to have to quit. So it's obviously a big step. So yeah, I think that's where a lot of the uncertainty and unknowns coming from, and not wanting to let that down. So
when do you think that might be? When you just pull the plug?
I mean, we just got another client and I believe I have the most amount of clients out of like any digital or any strategist. So I'm really going to screw the company over if like I do just say, okay, sorry, but my business is kind of taking off and I got to do this instead. And so, yeah, I was thinking that I was going to stay here for a minimum until my student loans were paid off, because I got that guaranteed income coming in.
Yep.
And I had everything mapped out, which would have been, I believe, somewhere between September and November.
Okay.
So another like
3-4 months.
3-4 months. Yeah. So that's what I was expecting. Like that was, I don't know if I was saying minimum or maximum. I probably minimum, just because like I have that paid off. So yeah, if I do end up getting clients, and like I was saying before, like I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but where I have like this minimum threshold, if I have my current day job and this is my minimum amount of money that I need in order to survive, and if I'm able to get that from my side business, then, and I'm still able to manage both my job and my side business, sure, I'll do both. But once I get that minimum on my side business and it's been a few months and I'm not able to start, or maybe I just want to free up more time, then that's when it's going to happen. I don't want to just get this one client. He's going to pay me my minimum amount and then just end up quitting my job, because then all of a sudden now I don't have this job anymore. And then I just got this business or this client. And then if that client ends up leaving me, then all of a sudden I'm screwed. And now I don't have any clients. And now I don't have a job. And now I don't have income coming in. So there's a lot of unknowns there. So
yeah, I feel like there's going to be a gray area where you're going to have to just grind. It's gonna be that the first little bit after you quit your job, and it's not, the business isn't certain, but that's what they say about taking risks, man. And then that's when it's like, okay, I got to figure out how to do this. And then you're just gonna have to, backs against the wall. Your only option is to figure out how to do it. So yeah, excited for you to experience that.
I think the good news about that is if I were to end up quitting my job, it frees up so much of my time to actually do a lot of the stuff that I'm trying to do with New Frame, and like finish building out the website, make more YouTube videos, make my podcast, do all the blogging, do all this shit, reach out to people. And then once I have that foundation down, then I'm going to be able to. So yeah, it it's exciting for sure.
I think once you do that, once you do that, you're pretty strict with your routine and your scheduling and accomplishing things, where I think if you do have all that free time, you are going to be successful as far as that goes. Just because if you tell yourself you got to do sales emails or sales DMs or something, or, running ads to get people to your, lead magnet, whatever it is, you're going to be able to accomplish that. Right now, I think the thing your biggest hurdle you're running into is time. Whereas once you have this foundation down, imagine having 60 hours a week to do whatever you wanted to grow the business. Yeah, you might be getting less income, but
the good news is I live at home, so I'm able to save some money there, and that's always nice. A nice little bonus to have. And I know you started off like that, where you were staying at home and then saving some money.
Oh yeah,
it's a great option. So one thing that I do really like, and I've heard Alex start to say it a couple times recently, and I never heard him say it before, but over the past few weeks, he started saying it a little bit on his podcast or other podcasts, is that the hardest choice and decision he's ever had to make was him leaving his job and going into entrepreneurship. And boy, can I ever relate with that right now.
Yep.
So it's definitely a struggle right now.
Yeah, that's why I decided to skip that portion. I just said, fuck it, I'm not getting a job. But yeah, you're going to have to do that.
Smart.
And I'm excited to talk about it on the show. And that will be a big episode once you get to that point.
Yeah. How long do you think that'll be?
I think you'll work in 2024 at the minimum it would be.
Minimum?
Yeah.
Okay. So I ended up setting a goal last year. My strategist that was working with me, we both set a goal to, I think, quit by 2023 or whatever. And it was probably around exactly a year ago right now. And I wrote that down and I was like, okay, I'm going to end up quitting. I'm going to do all this shit. And that never ended up happening. So
did the coworker?
I think, yeah. So I actually met up with her the other day, and she said that she might ask me to do a couple small projects for her. So she has her own business. I think she got some jobs through Upwork. So I think that would be, I told her, and same with you, I told that I think it would be good experience for me to learn how to invoice from people that I actually know. So it's like, oh fuck, I fucked up, because you don't want to be sending out these invoices looking unprofessional or messing it up and being like, oh, sorry about that. Yeah, that's my bad. This is my first time doing it. So I think that's what I kind of told her, but she was asking if I'd be willing to do a couple of those projects, and I'd finally be able to get my beats.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's good to have those connections. I'd say 2024 at the minimum for you. That's just kind of putting a realistic stamp on it. I think before you're comfortable,
6 months.
It's hard to, I think it'd be hard to get comfortable. If it happens the next 2 months where you get 10 new clients and you're like, okay, awesome. But that's a realistic goal. I think I'd love for it to happen earlier. I'd send you a bottle of wine in the mail, whatever you want. I
don't drink.
Well, you can put it on the shelf.
send me a new hydro flask. I need a new hydro flask.
There you go.
It's got a whole bunch of dents in it. But yeah, I do have a company retreat coming up in about 2 months here, right after my marathon. So I'm assuming it's going to be after that. And I'm assuming it'll be sometime after my student loans, unless business does just start taking off and Eddie keeps selling for me and people keep asking for fucking 5 pieces of content every day.
Those are the clients I have. If you can't handle them, push them to me. I'm just gonna,
sounds good. I will.
I'm just gonna tell them it's $75,000. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about a lot of this as far as it is just that imposter syndrome where it's like, can you accomplish all of these things? And that's something you're working through. And then I think everyone works through whenever they start a new business. So it's not out of the ordinary, I would say. It's just, the fear of things getting too overwhelming and too stressful and too much anxiety. But those are good things. That's that feeling you have where it's like, oh, this is a little nerve wracking, but the opportunities and the success that might be there is the exciting part.
Do you ever deal with that where you feel overwhelmed or anxious or you got too much stuff going on?
Oh,
And if so, how do you deal with it?
oh yeah, all the time. And the only thing I do is I think, well, what can I do right now? What needs to get done right now? That's the only thing I can do. I can't freak out and pull my hair looking at the whole macro on how there's 8 different projects that need 8 different things. What's the most important thing right now that needs to get done? Today, it was one client. They literally need to get their video done because I've been telling them it's coming and coming and coming, and it hasn't. So I'll finish that for them, and then I'll move on to the next problem, the next thing that I need to accomplish. So I think if you can look at it as a one task thing rather than looking at the whole thing from the sky, from a bird's eye view, it's much easier.
Yeah, I like that advice. That's good.
Because then it's not, you can't do anything except what you can do. Like the one task you can do, that's all you can do. You can't do 15 things at one time. So why stress about something you can't even do?
Yeah. You're spending time worrying about stuff, worrying about all this other stuff. And then you just end up spending more time worrying about it, and you don't actually get stuff done, and you don't actually progress closer to your goal and getting everything done and unfucking yourself.
Unfucking yourself. I like that.
Yeah.
Tyler, what else you got as far as fear of success goes?
I feel like I covered everything that I'm currently struggling with. It's just a lot of these unknowns. And I mean, I feel like I just need to take action. And I think being transparent with this guy might help out too. And being like, hey, so I currently have a full-time job and I'm starting this on the side and I'm just starting out. And I think that would be good. And then at the same time, if I do end up lowballing him, he'd understand that at the same time where I have all this stuff going on. So I think being transparent is a good thing to do in this process. I know I'm in a very unique situation with fear of success, but for me personally, I said I was going to be talking to myself, but I think being, I don't know, do you think being transparent would be good?
I think you can have some transparency, but I wouldn't tell them all of that, unless it comes up somehow. But I wouldn't lead with, hey, I got a full-time job and I'm just trying to start this, because then you lose a lot of leverage. He doesn't know that. He thinks you're a professional right now. Go in thinking, yeah, I can accomplish this. Here's what it's going to be. And then if he's like, okay, I need you to fly out once a month, whatever it is, then that's when you might be able to have that conversation, or you find a way to figure it out internally. But a lot of people hate the fake it till you make it saying. I think I partially like it, partially hate it. But this is a scenario where it's, fake it till you make it. Pretend like you've done this, pretend like you've been there before. And it positions yourself as more of the expert and the professional in this area, in my opinion. I don't know if I'd lead with that, So
what's happening is, that I've been making videos for Eddie, right? Mm-hmm. So that's basically how this connection has happened. Is he's seen Eddie's content. He really likes Eddie's content. That comes from me. Yeah. So he obviously knows the quality of work that I can do and that I do. So that's how this whole thing sparked up. And I think he talked with Eddie, and Eddie's like, oh yeah, he's the best. I can get you in, connect with him and have the introduction. So I think that's how it came up. So he knows my quality of work and that I can do this. So I think he does have a little bit of background for me, and he also, it's a referral. Referrals are typically the best types of leads. So
oh yeah, I would just go and say, hey, here's how it works when I shoot it with Eddie. I could set the same thing up with you. Usually when I work with Eddie, we shoot this, and then I get it to him. This is the delivery process, and just kind of walk through, hey, here's how I do it with Eddie. Do you want to do it the same way? And then you can take away all of because that's even better if he knows the quality, he knows what he's getting, kind of what it looks like. Then it's pretty much just like, hey, here's how we do it over here. We can do the same thing for you.
Yeah. I need to get on a call with this guy to learn exactly what he needs, because currently we're all making assumptions right now because we don't know exactly what he's looking for. Like maybe it's just fucking Canva posts of a house or whatever it is, because he's in real estate. So, and maybe it's just coming up with these captions that ChatGPT will be able to fulfill extremely easily, or maybe it's just managing his social media accounts. So at this point, we're kind of making a lot of assumptions on what he is looking for, but yeah, we'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah,
just gotta start taking action.
I'd hop into a call with him, get some questions answered, and then we can reconvene on this on next week's episode. See what he's actually looking for, and then if you haven't already sent him a proposal, we can maybe workshop through that. But yeah, I mean, this is something that generally happens at the beginning. I don't think I suffer from this too much, where it's you more so look at the success that you might have and look at it as opportunities. How can this help you grow? How can you learn more things? How can you grow the company, hire more people, whatever it might be? That's how I look at it. But I do remember being in your position, and that is totally normal. Tyler, anything else before we get to this week's business idea?
No, I just need to be confident, and we're going to learn along the way. So I just need to start taking action, go out there and learn as we go.
Yes, sir. We'll answer it in the business Discord if you guys want to join.
Perfect.
All right, Tyler, I'll throw you over the business idea here. Protective teeth cover. What's that all about?
So we're still on
back on
caffeine and caffeine kick. So this is the last one. This is the big idea that I thought would wash away the previous idea. So I don't know if there is actually or not in toothpaste. Maybe there is, but it doesn't work well because people's teeth end up getting stained. So maybe there's like this protective layer that you can like put on your teeth to protect you from stains, and then maybe it'll last 12 to 24 hours, and then you just put it on every day and you just like layer your teeth on it or whatever. I don't know what it would be, just like some filament that just like you put over, and it just keeps them from getting stained for 24 hours.
Like a grill.
That's the something like that, but not like that, because it would need to be like invisible. So it just like, I don't know, like fluoride or some paste that you're able to like put over your teeth, and then maybe you can have like mint flavored or just no flavored at all. But it's something that's not going to be noticeable, and it just kind of protects your teeth from getting stained. So, and then it just like wears off every day or something like that.
I like the idea.
I don't know the logistics of it, but yeah.
I think I like the whole concept of not having your teeth stained. So I'm on board with that. It's just, would there be a hassle, you think, having to put something on every day, or do you just put it on before you drink coffee?
You could, I don't know if it would just be before coffee, but I think what people talk about is habit stacking. So after you brush your teeth, maybe it's something that you just put in maybe it's like mouthwash type of thing, and then you just like put it in your mouth for 30 seconds afterwards, and then you're all set for the day. Or maybe it's like you got to brush it on after your toothpaste or whatever it is. Like your teeth are all nice and clean after you brush your teeth, and then you just put this stuff on, and then you're all set for the day. So habit stacking on top of like something that you do every day, do everything in the morning, right after you brush your teeth. So
it's like a shirt for your teeth.
Exactly.
It's
like
I mean, I think if you run with any of these teeth covering ideas, I'd be down to try them, because I drink coffee every day. I don't want my teeth to be stained, but I have all fake teeth, so that kind of helps me.
Yeah. So this was actually my last day. I know we talked about it, I don't know how many days ago, but we talked about it on the podcast where I quit caffeine for X amount of days. I said 2 weeks, and today's my last day. But I just listened to an Andrew Huberman podcast, and he talked about caffeine. And basically what he said is 90% of the world consumes caffeine, so on a daily basis. So what happens when you consume caffeine is you think that it elevates you and gives you energy, but if you're drinking caffeine every single day, the caffeine that you drink just gets you back to your base level. So if you don't consume caffeine, you're just going to be operating at that level. But if you don't consume caffeine and then you have coffee one day, you're going to be elevated. So if you're drinking coffee every day or caffeine every day, you're basically what you're consuming is just getting you back up to base level. So you're not actually like above that. So it was interesting what he was saying. And then like, if you want to reset it, if you drink, say, caffeine every single day, there's like a 2 to 4 day window that you got to take off, and then that'll reset it. And then when you do consume caffeine again, you're going to have a spike. So I was thinking, like, I've been feeling fine recently. I don't think my sleep's been any better or any worse. And like after hearing that, I'm like, I don't know if I should go back to caffeine, or especially like I don't have this protective teeth cover yet, or I don't have my other invention that crystallizes coffee and makes it all clear, and maybe we can add on to that idea, and maybe it like whitens your teeth.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. So we don't have any of those products yet. So I don't know if I will be going back to it. I was thinking about getting some pre-workout, and after that podcast, I was like, maybe I'll just have it like once a week or maybe twice a week, just so like I'm getting that extra spike in there. So as opposed to what he was saying, where you're just getting back to your baseline level. So that was really interesting to hear that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with it. It's just kind of getting you at the flat line, and then if you don't have coffee, you go down. But now I'm just thinking, how do I get back above? If my baseline's, this is no caffeine, here's the caffeine baseline. How do I get above that? I got to go more caffeine. So
you got to take a few days off.
Yeah, I could do that. I have coffee every day, but the energy drink days, I don't know if I have an energy drink every day. So I'll have to experiment with that. But I'm not usually like, man, I feel lethargic today. I mean, there are days here and there, but usually I'm pretty good.
Yeah. I just feel like I get the midday crashes a lot.
Yeah.
Like for
2, 3,
for
4
me, my
o'clock.
midday is like 10 a.m.
Yeah. You get the mid-morning crash.
That's like 7 hours I've been up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I woke up at 3 this morning.
Ugh, gross. All right,
Yeah.
Tyler, anything else?
No, that's everything I need to go out there and take some action, and hopefully soon I'll have my first client.
Cool.
I can listen to my beats.
They're just sitting on the shelf staring at you.
They really are.
We'll update next week on how you're feeling as far as that goes. That's episode 44 of The Midnight Entrepreneur. If you have any questions you'd like us to cover or answer, email us at themidnightentrepreneur@gmail.com. If you found value in this content or found this entertaining, share this with a friend or post it on your story. If you really enjoyed the show, we'd love a rating and a review wherever you are listening. Talk to you guys next week for another episode of The Midnight Entrepreneur.
All my best successes came on the heels of failure. Barbara Cochran.